Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
A very good morning to you, my dear viewer, and welcome to the Morning Digest, the show that comes to you every Thursday morning, and we get to talk about women issues or issues affecting women. And today we are going to be talking about women and education, a topic that is very close to my heart, and I believe a topic that's very close to the heart of any parent, whether you have young kids or you have grandchildren. It affects you in one way or another. And in the show today, we have a beautiful lady that you're going to meet in a minute or two, and she's going to be telling us about her journey into education. She's a counseling psychologist, but I don't want to, spoil the fun for you. She will tell us about herself in a bit. And so I want you to welcome to the show Risper Mbugua. Welcome to the show, Risper.
Thank you so much, Anne, for having me.
Yes, karibu sana. It's an honor, to have you in the show, and thank you for accepting to come and, tell us about education. And as we begin the show, I want to give you a quote that I read somewhere, and it sort of struck my heart before you introduce yourself.
Okay.
And someone said that when you open a school, you close a prison door. And that really struck me.
True.
What's your take on that statement?
Wow, a powerful statement. When you open a school, you close the prison door because you have an opportunity, to instill discipline, to instill behavior, to mold character.
Yes.
And of course, why do we end up in prisons?
Yeah.
It's because of lack of values.
Yes.
It's because of not obeying laws. It's because of vices.
Yeah.
So of course, when you open a school, that is where we instill these things.
Yes.
So it is a very correct, saying, as it were.
That when you open a school,
you close the doors.
Yes. And I think now you're busy closing prison doors.
We are closing them. We are closing them.
So tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, Anne. My name is Risper. As you've been told, I am a mother. Risper Mbugua. I'm a mother. I have 3 children, 2 teenagers, and a daughter who is 11. Yeah, I'm a child of the Most High God. I love the Lord so much. This is my ministry also. Yeah, and I'm in the education department. I'm in the education ministry. It's my mountain.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's something that I love to do.
Yes.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, that is Risper.
Awesome.
Yes.
Nice to understand that you've said it's your mountain, because in life there are many mountains to conquer.
True.
Others have been called into the mountain of media.
Yeah.
Others have been called into the mountain of health.
Yeah.
And for you, it is education.
Mountain of education.
And so I would ask, because some people begin schools for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Why particularly did you feel inclined towards going to the education sector and beginning a school? We'll talk about your school later.
Yes.
But tell us what really motivated you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, I have a passion. I have a passion for the teenagers. I have a passion for children. For me, it's basically the teenagers, the high schoolers. I feel I am called towards molding their character. I feel I'm called towards instilling a lot of discipline. I'm called towards, just shaping them into, by the time the high schoolers are coming to school, they're coming from a different phase.
Yes.
So it's a new phase.
Yes.
I felt like I'm in a place where I can be able to, add into their new phase in high school. And I also realized that one of the requirements in many organizations is your high school certificate. So what is this that people look for so much? I felt I'm, called in there. Okay. I have a passion for them. I want them to know their God-given vision, their God-given, abilities. I want them to understand that education is broad, So I felt that is where I work best. That is why that's my niche, as they can say. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. And so I've had especially people in the child development area say that even if you've not had your child before 18, like you've never developed a relationship with them, you've never conversed with them, you're not friends, after 18 it's like you're total strangers. Yes, you could be mom to them, dad to them, but it's like you've lost them. So it's never crossed your mind to think of maybe at some point, I'm not changing your vision.
Thank you.
It's, ever going to that stage where you really mold a child, like from the formative years.
The formative years. I believe everybody has their niche where they're called most. And for me, I felt these teenagers that people perceive, it's very difficult to mold them. It's very difficult, like they have already been molded by so many, social media, by so many other factors, pressures. So many people give up at that particular point. Okay, it would be better initially. They say, actually in counseling, they say 0 to 7 years is the time to build a relationship. But I think there are chances that God also gives us. Even there are chances that God gives us, even at that high school level, at 13, at 14, when they don't know what's going on in their lives, and there are a lot of biological things happening in their lives, the adolescent stage, all those things. I feel that is where I'm called the most. Right. And I really connect well with them. And I
totally agree with you, because I remember the high school I went to, the Christian Union was deeply, let me say, they were serious for God, serious for Jesus. And I think that's where my life was really molded for God. So I support you. I will not talk about the school I went to, because we were indoctrinated religiously in a different way. So I went to this other school, and I was seeing people, talking about Jesus, the Jesus who loves you, who can change you. And I thought, let me try this Jesus. And honestly, I'm forever grateful. I always say one of the best chapters in my life was high school.
Awesome.
Because that's where my life was changed. So I think God has given you a really beautiful platform.
Awesome
to change young lives.
True.
Not just intellectually, but in other ways that you will tell us. So many people have always said that education is the key to success. But over time, we've discovered that there are many other keys. So what can you say about that?
Actually, there was a joke when this COVID hit, and of course schools were closed, and we were now asking ourselves, okay, so kumbe education is not,
it's not the key.
But I would like to take it on a different note and say education is not necessarily books. It's not necessarily that subject.
That's
education is education is broad. Education is broad, and I think it is a key, because even how you relate to people, even how you socialize with people, even how you accommodate people, it has something to do with education. Be it be physical education, be it be the one for academic, be it be the spiritual education, but education is actually the key. What we'll be asking ourselves is which key, in this part of the broader education, because education is really broad. Because even our 4 grandparents, they didn't go to school, but they were educated.
And they were very organized. They brought up kids that were disciplined.
They made decisions. They made good decisions.
They gave birth to people that turned out to be professors, doctors, church leaders. Yet they never had an education.
They never went to a formal school. So when we talk about education, let's not just look at a student, teacher, book, syllabus, coverage, things like that. No, education is really broad.
It is
and
really broad.
In that case, it is a key.
And thank you. And I think that's where now, if someone is very educated, but they lack, like you've said, they don't know how to relate with people. They cannot keep a relationship. They cannot hold a sensible conversation. You're like, how come this education has not helped
helping you?
Because this person is only book smart. But beyond the book smartness, then there is a problem. So other than the fact that now you began a school and you are in the education sector, you are also a counseling psychologist. Is that the best way to call you?
Well, we are called helpers. We are called, I love to be called a helper, because basically counseling is just to help. Counseling is just to listen. Counseling is not because someone is not coming to you because all the time they have a problem.
That's right.
Sometimes they come to you just because they need an ear. They need some direction. They need to know, how do I go about these things? It's not always because they have issues. So we are helpers.
And what better place to do that than among, young people, and especially young people, like we said, that need a strong foundation of their value system, not just education.
Especially where the world has introduced them to so many foundations. And they are in a place where they have to make a sober decision
Yeah.
where the world is pulling them from every angle,
Yeah.
and they need to be, you know, focused
Yeah.
on a particular area. We come in as helpers.
Yes.
So the counselor, psychologist thing looks like a big title, but basically what we are just
Your
lending a
helpers,
hand.
yeah?
Yes, we are
Wow.
lending a hand.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's a topic I would really one day want us to delve into,
Yeah.
and especially the role of counseling
True,
in
true,
the society,
true,
because
true.
most people think counseling, if I'm able to read the Bible, why do I need a counselor?
Oh, we do
But I
need-
think there's
yeah.
more to
There's
life
more
than
to
just
it. True, true.
reading God's word. There are things that go wrong because someone doesn't have the information.
True.
And I think the role of a counselor is to probably understand, why is this child behaving like
Yes,
this?
yes, to digest the problem, to dissect it,
Yeah.
to be able to cut it into small pieces that someone is able to understand, you know, aspects of various, you know, various issues.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have something that is disturbing you and you think it's this big mountain. So when you go to a counselor, they cut it in small pieces where you're
Yeah.
able to digest one by one,
Yeah.
and you actually, you feel, I can
Yeah.
actually be able to face this.
All
I can
right.
do this.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yesterday we celebrated the Day of the African Child, and I was watching news on
Yeah,
TV,
yeah.
and sadly, most of the stories I was seeing were not stories of what the African children have benefited in terms of the good side, but we were seeing sad stories of child abductions, a child having been found after being lost for, not actually the child,
yeah.
the remains.
The body.
Yeah, the body.
The body.
And so I was seeing a lot of sad stories of the African child, and I was asking, what has happened to our society where children are sacred? You know, it's the way people say every child has a guardian angel. And that is why sometimes you may find in an accident, an entire, I'm not here to spread bad news, but you might find in an accident, a child survives. And this child was in the hands of the mother.
Yeah.
And the mother, unfortunately, passes
not
on.
there, yeah.
So, in other words, people say children have guardian angels. Children are close to the hearts of
True.
to the heart of God.
To the heart of
but now
God.
we live in a society where it's like a child has become a target.
Yeah.
What would you say currently, and especially even as you advise parents, because there are parents that just trust everybody and be like, oh, he has a good smile, he doesn't look harmful, she's a nice neighbor, I would trust her with my child. With this sense of insecurity that's been happening around, especially as a helper, as a counselor, what would be your advice to children? Of course, knowing that unless the Lord watches, we watch in vain.
Yeah. That's a really passionate, area of my life, because it's been there, and it's been there. We've watched it over and over. And I think first, just celebrating the African child before I go probably to the vices that are happening in our society.
Yeah.
To celebrate the African child is such a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
because African children have been given an opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in the olden days, they were locked somewhere. They were doing just the chores, and the roles were almost defined. That Anne, you're a lady, so this is what you do. The men, this is what you do. But yeah, we are here now, and we celebrate that now we have come from our cocoons. We have embraced education. We have embraced change. We have embraced the world, and so our African child has equal opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
They have equal opportunities to any other child on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Any opportunity. We are doing great things.
Yeah.
We are doing innovations. We are bright minds given an opportunity.
Amen.
and just being directed. We are going places.
Amen.
Once these children have been exposed to the right environments, to the right people, even counselors, even teachers, they are doing amazing things. So it's a good thing to celebrate the African child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the sky is not even the limit for our African children, both the boys and the girls, because in the olden times, the girls looked like they were left behind a little, and then it came a point where, again, we all concentrated on the girls. I was telling people, no, we need to concentrate both on the boys and the girls, because if you educate these girls so much, who's going to marry them?
Exactly.
Yeah. You left the boy in the village, taking care of the goats and the sheep.
Yes.
And this girl has come to Nairobi and has worn heels.
And then
now,
you expect her to go back?
and she cannot submit because she doesn't understand. And in any case, even their social way of interacting becomes very difficult. So the beauty of it is that all of them are now being educated. So we can celebrate the African child in totality, both male and female.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So about the social vices. My goodness, it's just something that really breaks every person's heart to see what is going on. And I think for me, the advice is to the guardian. The advice is to the parent. We are in a place where we can't control everything that happens. Look at our grade 4 children. They are at home, You know that, the grade 4 children going to grade 5. They've been at home for quite some time, and they'll go to school in August. Where are they? The grade 4 children are about 9 years old. Where are these children at this particular time?
And some of their parents cannot afford nannies.
Their children, and they're also going to work. Okay, they have to work. Remember, they have to work, and probably they are living in an environment whereby it's not very safe in terms of it's just a flat where you just close the door and you have to go to work. These are some of the questions that we need to ask ourselves at this particular point. What are we supposed to be doing for these particular children? How, as parents, can we be able to support one another so that I'm not leaving my 9-year-old girl, I'm not leaving my 10-year-old girl where she's just, kids are kids. You can't keep them in the house. They'll still run around. They still want to play. And there are people who have become praise. Unfortunately, there are people who look at my 10-year-old Ruby. My daughter is Ruby, 10-year-old. And we look at her and have ideas. Imagine. How unfortunate. So they begin to, to plan. So for parents, it's basic. I know it is difficult, but we have, number one, to protect. We have to protect. One of the roles of men is to protect. You need to protect your children, and you need to know and balance and have priorities right. We are really running after money, and actually I know we need to feed our families. I know we have needs that we need to meet. I know we are coming from a very difficult time, the corona season, but let's not forget our role of protection of our children. They need our protection because we are coming from a place where a long time we used to have communal parents. Now we don't have. We don't have them. It's unfortunate. We don't have them. So parents, I know, as difficult as it is, we need to come back to the drawing table and ask ourselves our role of protection. How are we going to carry it out?
That's right.
For me, in where I come from, I've been looking out for this grade 4 because I have a grade 4 too. So I've been telling parents, what are you doing with your children? Are there things they can do? Is there a place they can go, maybe do some art, maybe do some cooking, maybe is there someone we can actually even do a collective program. Even do a collective, we come together, 10 parents, be able to, because it's costly. It's costly. And so, if we come 10 parents, 15 parents, we are able to say our 15 girls, our 15 boys, they can be able to do this program.
I think that's really brilliant.
Let them learn skills. Let them learn some skills. Let them learn how to wash. Let us keep them busy.
Let them learn to cook mandazi or something,
because they are idle. And TV is not going to help them.
And social media.
Social media is not going to help them.
It's not even TV so much as it social media.
They have
on
phones.
The gadgets.
Yes, they have phones. And it's not going to be their parents. And if it's going to be their parents, believe me, it's not going to be the right parent. So we need to intentionally, the word is intentional. We need to, the way you save up for a project, the way you save up for something, we need to really be intentional about our children because we have seen children being taken advantage of, children who are 7-year-olds,
it's so
7 years, and who are taking advantage of them, people that they see,
people that are close to them,
people that are known. This guy who who brings you gas, who delivers you gas. This person who they see on the road as they're going to school, and children are innocent. They perceive.
I saw a very sad video of a guy that would pick the child. The way you entrust your child to a motorbike rider. And this person picked the child, went, raped her, then took her back home, dropped her at the gate, a young girl of 7 years.
I saw.
And I'm like, what's going on here? So I think the other thing is, even though this could have actually been beyond the girl's control, she could have been threatened that if you don't cooperate, X, Y, Z. So I think also the parents have a role to educate their children that if you sense danger, do this, scream, do something,
whatever it is.
But it's really sad, and our hearts go out to the parents that may have lost children or things have happened to them that they cannot reverse. We can only say that may the Lord give them the strength to move on. I would ask you, when it comes to the choice of a school, that is something that most people do not know.
Yeah.
Its impact. And they say, oh, this is the school that's close by, just take her to the school.
Yeah.
But not knowing that this school will leave a mark in the child forever.
True.
What is your advice to parents as they make a choice for a school, for their child?
Yeah, and it's a great question because at this particular season, everybody is running around, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, I think for me, I have been in that area. One of the things that I advise parents as they search for schools is know your child, know your child very well, know the environment your child is able to thrive.
Yes.
Know the environment your child is able to thrive. Know your child needs, you know your child needs. What is your child inclined to?
Yeah, yeah.
For example, we have, my son loves to draw. He loves to draw.
Oh,
he
he's
takes
taking
after the
after
father.
someone.
Yeah. So he loves to draw.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to take him to a place where that will be cultivated.
Yes.
That will be molded, okay?
Yeah.
Let's be intentional about the needs of our children. The other thing is the culture of the place you want to take your child.
Yeah.
Be intentional about it. Research about it.
Yeah.
Don't just be told, hey, there's a school here, let's go.
Yeah.
Learn about those culture.
Yeah.
Actually, high school is a make and break in many ways.
That's true.
Sometimes the children just come in as very innocent children and they're introduced to stuff in school.
Yes.
I have seen that happening.
Yeah.
So get to know the culture. Learn, you know, find out, ask people, you know, who knows this school, who has taken their child there. Just find out about the culture of the school. Do a thorough research.
Yeah.
Because there are things that are basic. There are things that are basic in terms of, does it have maybe the structures, are the teachers there, are they, you know, those are just the basics.
You're right.
But there are things, you know, in school it's not about just 8 to 5 school.
And the intellectual aspect.
No. There's a social aspect. There's a lot psychological. There's a lot that happens to this child. So for me, it's get to know that school very well, the culture of that school. Get to know it so well. Get to know your child, where they can thrive at. Get to know their needs.
And pray also.
And pray.
Yeah, because
and trust
God
for
give
God's
you a
leading.
major unrest. You feel, as much as this seems to be a good school, something in my heart tells me no.
Exactly.
And it's good to listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit.
It is.
Of course, knowing that not every parent knows Christ. But again, this would be a great moment to connect with God.
To connect with God.
And when you mentioned that, I remembered a conversation I had with a teacher that had taught in one of what we would consider the best schools.
Yeah.
At that time, I was looking for a school for our son. And I remember that teacher told me categorically, she had taught in that school for 18 years.
Yes.
And she told me, I would not advise you.
It happens.
And of course, without mentioning the details, I knew that there's more to a school than just the big name that's out there in the public.
That's true.
So parents should prarefully
consider
and also do their research.
A thorough research and know your child. Homework. And don't just push your child. Don't just throw them somewhere. Don't just do it because everybody is going to that school. As you've rightfully said, don't do it even because of the titles. Don't even do, I mean, pray about it, research about it, know your child, discuss it with their children also. Let's put them on the table. I know sometimes in our African culture we are like,
dialogue
we do not ask our children, but nowadays we ask them and they can actually tell you something that would be of help to you. Education, as we said in the beginning, it's broad. We are still learning. It's a learning process and we never stop learning. So please get to know the school very well, whether it is near or far. And actually something else, Anne, I need to mention is sometimes even the health need of a child. The health need of a child. I have seen children really suffer because they have a condition, but the parent have decided this is the school you're going because it is doing so well. So this is where you're going. But the child has a condition. Yes.
And you began by mentioning that education is more than just the books.
Thank you.
So you end up taking a child in a good school. But several years down the line, their health is so bad that the education doesn't even...
It doesn't help. And you lose a lot of resources to undo what you could have avoided. So the health need also comes in, especially if they are disabled in one way or the other. Sometimes you need to go and find out if your child is, even like introverts and extroverts and those kind of things. Yes, I've seen children who are taken in schools where probably the numbers are too high and the child is unable to cope.
Yeah.
They're unable to cope.
It's
They
like an
don't
ocean
know.
of,
Yes,
you
they are
know.
just lost somewhere.
Yeah.
So please, let's be intentional about our children.
Yeah.
Let's really prayerfully consider
Yeah.
and do a thorough research and also bring them on the table.
Wow,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Risper.
Yeah.
You are listening and you're hearing it from what I would call the expert in terms of she does that on a daily basis, interacting with the children, understanding their psychology, understanding what they are going through. And if you're watching us, please send your comment on Facebook, send your comment on YouTube, and also you can send your comment on the number below, the WhatsApp number, so that at least we get to know where you're watching us from, and we also get to know what your thoughts are regarding this show. So before we go on break, you can tell us about your elite school. I love the name of
You
your
love it,
school.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
beautiful. I mean, it inspires confidence. What was in your mind when
Yeah.
you were picking the name?
Elite actually means superior ability. Elite means the cream. Elite means the best. Elite, yeah. And I chose that name because I realized every student that comes to our school is good in a particular area.
Wow.
They are the best in that particular
That's
area.
awesome.
They could be the best cooks. They could be the best dancers. They could be the best singers. They could be the best educators. So they are elite in their different areas.
Wow.
I didn't want them to feel, because probably you're not an A student or a B student, you're not good.
Yes.
I wanted them first to feel,
You capitalize on their strengths.
Yes, exactly.
And even if they're not strong intellectually,
Yes.
let's first focus on you're good
Yourself,
in this.
yes.
And then we use that confidence to build on your intellectual.
True. Because the world needs all of us, and we need to embrace every person. Because I believe, as I said, I'm a Christian, I believe when God created each child, there is a reason and a purpose.
Yeah.
And I believe there are chances that God gives to all of us.
Yeah.
So who are we to tell them they are not the best?
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're tempting me to pay a visit. And there are times
You're most
when your kids
welcome.
have grown and
Yeah.
you're thinking, personally, I wouldn't say I have regrets regarding whatever school they went to, but there are times you wish really the kids in the society go through the hands of men and women that fear God,
Yeah.
for starters, that have the professionalism,
Yeah.
but they fear
They
God.
fear God.
I was watching a video yesterday of this guy that today is a motivational speaker, and I think he does traveling, talking a lot of things, but he had a physical challenge, not a major one, because he walks around with a
Yeah.
stick. So one day he asked the teacher a question, and the teacher says, come to class tomorrow. I answer you that question.
Yeah.
And when he came to class, the teacher said, when you were coming through the gate, who did you see around the gate? The guy says, I saw some maybe motorbike riders,
Yeah.
I saw some people selling stuff.
Yeah.
Remember very well, who else did you see? And then he said, I saw some beggars around the gate.
Yeah.
You will not believe what this teacher said.
Yeah.
The teacher said, that is where you belong.
No.
And those who are there, I'm telling you the
No,
truth. And he got a standing ovation because he said, today, in this school where I was told, I come back with a PhD to motivate anyone that might have been told a bad statement that you can make it in life. So when we come back,
Awesome.
we will talk about the role of teachers.
Yes.
And how they can make or break a child. Because as
Awesome.
we talk about education,
Yes.
it is not just about the child.
Yes.
There's someone that wakes up every morning to impact that child.
That child.
Permanently, positively,
yes.
or negatively.
True, true,
So
true,
when
true.
we come back, we'll talk about
Thank
that.
you, Anne.
So viewers, I believe so far you've heard quite a bit about education. And if your children are young, there is hope. You need to prayerfully choose the school you're taking your child to, and also research and find out, as our guest has told us, what is the culture of that school, so that you don't take your child to a school that will damage them, or even an environment, let me just say an environment that will damage them permanently in the future. So we'll be back after the break. I am your host, Anne David.
The opportunities in Nairobi and in Kenya, there are greater opportunities here than anywhere else in the world.
Wow.
There's, it's because there's opportunities to serve. And when there's opportunities to serve, Wealth is created because one of the principles of wealth creation is that it's created on a foundation of serving others.
Absolutely.
And the bigger you serve them and the faster you serve them, the more money you make and the faster you make it.
Right?
Reading is essential for those who seek to rise above the ordinary. Let's bring back the reading culture. You now have an opportunity to travel the world without moving your feet. We present to you Elevation Bookshop. Elevation Bookshop brings you enriching content through books that have an array of themes ranging from parenting to women, men, children, spiritual nourishment, and much more. You can now get a gift for your loved one on their birthday, anniversary, and any other memorable occasion. Get in touch with us on our social media pages. On Instagram, we are elevation_bookshop, and on Facebook, we are Elevation Bookshop. Get your book or gift today by visiting us at Kenya Cinema, Mezzanine Floor, Moi Avenue, Nairobi. For more information, call us on 0719 666655. Elevation Bookshop. Enrich your life.
Since you are God's dear children, you must try to be like Him.
Welcome back to the show, The Morning Digest, where we talk about women's issues. And today we are talking about women in the education sector. And we have Risper Mbugua as our guest today. And she has told us quite a bit about the world of education. And I believe if you're watching or if you've just joined us, there's so much more that you're going to learn. So we are talking about teachers and their role in the life of the children. There are teachers that have been like angels in the life of children. And others, I don't want to call them the opposite, but they have caused a lot of damage.
True. Yeah.
What would you say is the role of a teacher in the life of a child?
Thank you. Actually, teachers play a major role. Play a major role in the lives of these kids as they come to school, because they spend a lot of time with them. Remember, they spend a lot of time with them, and for boarding schools especially, where your child will be in school for a longer period, actually in school than home.
Yes.
What is happening today is that we are having longer times in school and maybe closing just for a week or so.
Yeah.
So the role of the teachers is really key in molding. Number one is in what they tell them.
Yeah.
Do you know kids really believe in their teachers?
Yeah, they do.
Do you know they believe? Do you know, like the small kids, they'll
they
tell you,
do.
"Mommy, teacher said."
Yes,
Teacher
they do.
said, yeah. So kids believe in their teachers.
Yeah.
And for me, as a Christian, words have power. They either break. Actually, the Bible says that the power of life and death is in our tongue.
Yes.
So whatever we speak to them, whatever we tell them, we are able to mold. We create. Words are for creation. So we create that particular thing. And I have seen in my particular area of calling where a child will come and they are not they are wayward, they are not good in discipline, but by your interaction, by you talking to them, by you encouraging
Bringing them closer.
Yes, closer to yourself, you are able to mold a child.
Yeah.
So the teachers are not, we don't just teach. You know, we are also parents, we are also friends, we are also counselors, we are also doctors, you know. Sometimes they come to you and they feel like the world is crashing, and you are able just to speak into their lives. Teachers play all those roles together. And I know of just like you rightfully said, I know there are teachers who, with their words, they may be able to break a child, especially when a child feels like, I want to do this, but I don't know how to, and you've already told them you can't sing.
Yes.
You can't sing, you don't have that voice, you can't sing, you can't act. Stop, you know, get another, you know, those kind of words will demoralize them completely, and they will believe you. They'll think, I can't do it. But what if we have teachers who are able now to see and speak into it and even motivate them? You can imagine what can happen. We have examples even of someone like Steve Harvey, who was told he can't do TV, but we know that he does powerful shows.
In fact, it was so vivid. It's amazing. I was actually thinking of the same when you were talking. When he was called to the front, he was feeling so good that, wow, the teacher is going to, you know. But the teacher asks him, do you know anyone on TV? Do you know anyone in your family
on TV?
Who is on TV? Obviously, the answers were no. But the good thing about it is, he says, very funny, every year, he sends a plasma TV
to the very teacher. Yes. So
very ironical.
True,
you know?
true. So we can build, we can mold, we can see things the parents sometimes cannot see. We are the second parents. Like for me, I tell my teachers every time, you have another role apart from just teaching. Get close to this child. Understand why are they keeping quiet, like why are they sometimes even a behavior that can just crop from nowhere, and a child who was very good suddenly is behaving. Just get close to them, talk to them, you know, and you'll realize that they just needed someone to talk to.
And you know, that tells me a school is like a sanctuary.
It is.
It's an altar.
It's an altar.
And actually, you know, because when we're talking about a school, it is, like you said, a make or break place. And so I believe even for you, as you vet your employees, you are very keen. Even if you don't verbalize it, there are particular things you're looking at before you allow someone to enter into the classroom, because that is very key.
It's very key. Like for me, I tell them, what you speak is very important to me. Actually, if a child has done something that is wrong, you can call the child, you can actually give the child maybe something to do in terms of punishment, discipline, tell them you need to watch that because you did 1, 2, 3, but you cannot verbalize and say you are this, you are the other, you are this on the negative. You cannot do that.
I like that.
You cannot do that.
And I hope the teachers that are watching are learning something.
Yes, you can't do
because
that.
There are people that remember till today, in their 60s, something they were told when they were less than 10 years old.
And sometimes we don't know what they are going through. Sometimes we are coming in a very difficult time, and again, if I can mention, sometimes these kids have lost their parents. They have lost the people who are paying their school fees, but they have come to school. They are coming with burdens. They are coming with issues. They are coming from dysfunctional homes. They are coming from single parents' homes. Sometimes it's difficult. So the only place they can find solace is in school. So again, they find a teacher who... So you know what I'm saying. The school also becomes a home away from home. And that's the way it ought to be. That's the way it ought to be.
Because when sometimes you look, and I'm not saying, I'm not demeaning we Africans, but sometimes when you look at the way the Western world approaches their relationship with students, and I'm speaking generally, it is a little bit different. And later on, we'll be looking at maybe a comparison between what goes on there and,
what happens here.
And what happens here. Here, it's almost like the one is on the upper side,
it's military.
The other one is military.
It's military.
Actually. So what do you think the government can do to make this environment, and maybe that's why some kids hate school?
They do. They do. And I think even before we go to the government, because sometimes, and I feel this government, we really want them to do so many things.
Said we are
and
the
we
government.
are the government. Me and you are the government. I think for my Okay, for the people who've been called in this mountain of education, like myself, the directors of schools, the head teachers of schools, the deans, the HODs, you know, those people. Yeah, I think it's for you to actually sit down and ask yourself, what is the value that you want to add to a child? What is the value? Because that is a God-given role.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a God. What is the value you want to add to this child? I mean, and even if it was your child, what would you want? Yeah. So what you'd want to your child, can you give to this particular child? Yeah. Say hi to them in the morning. Yeah, just say hello. Just when they pass, let them not come to you with fear, but let them respect you.
They increase the distance
thank you.
between you and them.
There's a difference between fear and respect.
Yeah.
I want my students to respect me, but I don't want them to fear me. I want them to come to my office anytime and tell me I have an issue here, and it happens all the time, and I'm so happy. Actually, in my school, my teachers will tell you at around 4, when the lessons are done, or maybe lunchtime, they are lining up just to come, some just to say hi, some just to come and tell me, you know, I have these things, or this happened. Yeah. So when you make...
So you create time for them, like an hour after school?
After school, or more, if need be.
Meaning you're in touch with them.
You have to get in touch with them, because whatever is happening today, they are also affected. They are also affected. We need to, you know, we need to interact.
Boarding, or we have some that go and come back?
Now we have day scholars too. And of course, even the day scholars have their own hurdles, because you realize that when they're in school, probably it's a different environment, and when they go home,
it's another.
They find another environment. In school, probably we are telling them, you can make it, you can do it, you're the best, and then when they go home, what do they find?
It's all undone.
Yes, it's all undone. So you have to keep doing what was undone. But
or you increase the bar.
Thank you.
So
you increase it so high.
Go home,
yes, exactly.
The undoing is less.
It's less. You keep adding value to them. You keep telling them you're the best. You keep telling them you're God's best. I mean, you have these opportunities in life. You can make it. You can do it, you know. And they get to a place whereby, like the teenagers, you have really spoken to their lives positively so much that now they don't want to do anything to hurt you.
Wow.
They just can't do it. They just feel,
wow,
I can't do this to her.
They own the process.
They own it.
If it is an issue of indiscipline, you will even you find themselves reprimanding each other and saying, no, you don't want to do this.
Yes, you can't do this in our school. How can you do this?
I'm just loving this conversation. I don't know. Maybe it's taking me back to my days in school. But I think it's a big wake-up call to even future educationists, people that want to begin school. It's not just about the numbers.
No.
Because someone will be in a mad rush to get more and more, but compromise the quality.
The quality. That's
compromise
true.
The product that comes about school.
Yes. Because sometimes you look at it like a business. And of course it is, one or the other, it is a business. But you need to ask yourself, you know, you're dealing with lives. You're dealing with lives. You're dealing with leaders. You're dealing with future fathers, future mothers. You know, you're dealing with, this is the greatest resource, human, you know, the human is the greatest resource.
Someone actually said, this is just an adult in a small body, because they have feelings.
They have feelings.
And so they are growing up. So anything you say, you're just saying it to a future adult. And man's memory is better than a computer.
Oh, true.
And they do not forget.
Thank you, true. And
so tell us about the challenges of parenting today. And why I'm saying this is because the child of today is very unique. We grew up in days, maybe not you, me, where the TV stations would go on at 4 p.m. and by 10, the station is closed. Even the programming was very okay. You could watch with your parents. But today there's a mix of each and everything that is not acceptable. So the challenge of parenting today, we are dealing with a very different young person. So what would you advise parents, especially when it comes to dialoguing with their children?
There's this verse that comes to mind that bring up a child in the ways of the Lord, and when they grow up, they will not depart. I believe one of the things that we can be able to do, because we are not going to run away from what is happening. We can't run away from the social media. We can't run away from the pressures that our children are now facing. Because for some of us, as you've said, we grew up with, even with no TV, leave alone it closing at 10. Probably it wasn't even there, you know?
And for some, no radio. So
no radio.
Depend on the neighbors.
My kids still laugh at me when I tell them that I owned a phone at 20.
Oh my.
They laugh. They
For
say,
them it's a surprise.
Yes, and they laugh. They say, how did you survive without a phone? How did you communicate to your friends?
Wow.
You know, yeah, so it is a world where we have to embrace what is happening. We don't have to run from it, but we need to be intentional. Remember I said, as we were beginning, intentionality.
Yeah.
We need to be intentional with our children.
Right.
We need to have open conversations, and we don't need to hide anything.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate, but I talk to my daughter who's 10, and I tell her things which I didn't know.
Even at 18.
I didn't know. You know?
Yeah.
It's almost when I was getting married, that's when my mom was calling me aside to tell me some things, you know?
Imagine.
But I have to tell her now, because if I don't tell her,
Someone
she
out
will,
there.
yes, she will learn either from her gadget, because they're doing online classes. She will learn from her gadget.
Yeah.
She will learn from the TV. Somebody, a neighbor, or I mean, whoever will be able. So you have to be intentional about teaching them. You have to teach them. You have to tell them the pros and the cons.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell them the pros and the cons. This is the way.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to high school. You'll meet these people. They will tell you one, two, three. If you follow this particular direction, this is what you're going to find. If you find this direction, this is what you're going to find.
So knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Walk with them the journey.
Yeah.
Don't walk with them the
And do
journey.
not fear.
Walk with them.
Yeah, because I think we also, if you look back at our generation, parents would never, like, maybe depending again on the household, sit you down and tell you things as it is. People learned on the way.
Or on your own.
On your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think today, because there are so many teachers, so to speak, parents cannot just stay put and say, oh, the Sunday school teacher will do the job, the teacher in school will do their job. We have to be intentional about
it.
how.
Yes.
So talking of now switching the gear to the curriculum, the new curriculum, and currently, obviously, you are in the new curriculum, the problem-based, competence-based.
Yes.
Others call it problem-based, depending. So what would you say are the advantages of the new
CBC.
curriculum to the old one?
To the old one.
Yeah.
I think for me, because I also have a child who is a pioneer, because she's in grade 4. So because I have a child who is a pioneer, I've looked at it, I've seen her, the way she's doing her things, as opposed to the 844, the one that we were used to. Number one, I would say it is very involving. It involves me and her. We are really, you know, sometimes she has to come in with beads. We have to do those beads together. We are really doing stuff together. I think it's also skill-oriented, skill and talent-oriented, so that every child is incorporated. So that if I am good in arts, I won't be left behind. If I'm good in music, I won't be left behind. If I'm good in probably the STEM, the sciences, I'm not left behind. I think it is it is inclusive. I like it for that reason. I know it has its teething problems because we all don't understand.
That's true.
And I think everything that is new, we need to, you know, give it time. We need to be open-minded. We said we are the government. We need to support the government so that we are also giving positive feedback. And even negative feedback is still feedback, but I feel that it is like what we used to do. Remember in our days when we used to do 7 out of 700. When we used to do art and craft. When we used to do home science. When we used to do agriculture. When we used to do those sports. You know, I think we are going almost back that, and I think it is good.
I believe so, and I agree with you totally, because we've been very theoretical. And one of the amazing things about life is that if you love cooking, and one day you become a chef, your life will center around cooking. So I think that's what they're trying to help the young kids identify your passion as early as possible and begin to refine it, as opposed to being a jack of all trades and a master of none. So I think that's good, and I believe the teachers and all the stakeholders should definitely support as much as possible. And that is where the Western world is also, you know, headed.
True.
I think the Western world, and we borrow a bit from that as a nation and as a continent. We are now in that season of let's see what we can do as opposed to memorization. Because if you just memorize, you get out there, the job market demands more than just one. More than
and also building confidence, and because sometimes when we are just book oriented, like it's only this grade of students that are perceived what happens to the rest of us?
Exactly.
Yeah, so the confidence is being built at a very early stage.
Yeah.
When she comes with those beads and I celebrate her and I tell her, wow, I think you're the next designer. You know, you're when you start building that confidence as early as possible, these children look at education with fun.
Yeah.
No, as opposed to the days we had even
They
to lie
dread it.
so that we don't go
Some
to
will
school.
dread it,
Yeah?
yeah.
So yeah, we are also building confidence, we are also building passion, we are also molding them in their area of calling as early as possible, and now, you know, exposing them to that direction, because when I realize my son loves to draw, then I want to expose him to the artist. I want to expose him to, you know, canvas. I want to expose him to paint. But when you don't know, then you have to really wait until probably they're finishing high school. That's when you know she's a beautician. She can actually be a good tailor. She can actually be a good, you know. Yeah.
And the years of strength, you know, in terms of if she had invested between 15 and 20, by the time she's 20 and now wants to refine the skill, she's almost like an expert.
Yeah, she's perfected.
But now when she's beginning at 23, it's almost like she's looking to who's going to marry me before long, children. So I think in a way it's taking us to a more orderly way of identifying where our strengths are.
Where our strengths
so let me ask a question in regard to the education system, especially in some of the best rated countries globally. And one of them is Finland. And I think Canada is also one of the countries that has very good a very good education system. But when you look at some of the things they do, we are nowhere, it's like it doesn't work here. They don't give homework. So kids, when you're done with school,
you're done
go
with school.
Home, go relax.
Yeah, go relax.
The reason why you came from 7:30 to 3:30 is so that you can study. After that, go home, relax, play. But now in our culture and other aspects which I may not get into, it's like you finish school at 4:30. Get home, take a cup of tea. Between 5 and 9, you're in another school in a bedroom somewhere. So what would you say, because the best rated countries apparently have practices that seem to be completely opposite of what we do on this side.
And I think,
and I'm not saying homework is bad. I need to put that disclaimer. Definitely.
We still have to give homework here and there, because homework helps us to understand, did you get it or you didn't get it. It's not supposed to be a means of continue, you know, as in like you're continuing to learn. Homework is supposed to tell us, did you get what I taught or you did not actually get it. And it's supposed to be, you know, not too much, so that the child also has their time. Remember, they're children. They also have their time to develop. They have their time to play. They have their time to socialize also. Yeah, but as you've rightfully said, I think that's where CBC is going to really help us also. Because that's where we are going, whereby it is not school, 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 and more school.
And
okay?
more school.
Yeah, because for those countries that you've mentioned, what normally happens, or what has happened, or what has made them to be where they are, it is because they are child-centered. Their systems are child-centered. They are person-centered. What is good? What are we good at? What are we good in? You know, the games, the sports. You know, they do amazing things. And every, do I say, career or professional is equal. There is no child that feels because my father is a lawyer, your dad is a plumber, they are not the same. You realize that even in those countries, even plumbers, plumbers, those are just some careers that
That's
are
a
given.
very professional
job. But
because if your tap breaks, you can't do
run.
it for yourself.
You can't do anything.
So you'll have to look for that person.
But is it given the same, you know, here like it is done there? No, there are even nannies. You know, it's a professional job.
Yeah, the minimum wage, whether you're a sweeper, or depends again on the economy, or you're a nanny, I think the minimum wage,
a driver,
balances,
or you're just a postman, they are given a lot of, you know, respect.
And no wonder they do their jobs with pride.
They do it with pride and passion.
So it's a policy issue that we need to pray
that and also tell our children it's okay. It's okay for you to be a tailor. It is very okay. I mean, we still
But the problem is, I hear you and I agree with you at my level.
True.
But someone would think, being a tailor doesn't bring me as much money as being a pilot and a lawyer. So how do we deal with that? How do we break that notion?
And actually, is it true that it doesn't bring as much? It's a myth. It's a myth because I know very good hairdressers that for you to step into their salon, you give quite something.
Oh my.
Quite something. I know that,
You think twice before you go.
Yes. And I think I can mention, I have a brother who's doing barber. And his place you go and you chuck something and you feel so it is a myth that it doesn't bring as much. Let's run after passion. Money will come.
Money will come.
Let's run
like
after
that.
passion.
Please repeat that to those who are watching.
Let's run after passion. Money will follow your passion.
Wow.
Be passionate in what you are doing. Be it been cooking, be it been whatever it is, even farming, even, that tailor, even that plumbing job. Just do it passionately and be honest. Money will follow you.
And money will follow you.
It will follow you.
Wow, it's amazing. And I love Kenyans. I'm a Kenyan, a proud one.
Yeah.
And Kenyans will always say, passion does not put food on the table. But if you continuously and consistently follow your passion, people will pay you for what you love to do.
Yeah.
People will pay you for it.
And passion is something that you do even without someone watching or even without a paycheck.
That's right.
Yeah. When I started the school, I had very few students, and sometimes we'd wonder, even when they all pay.
Did I do right?
Yes, but passion, passion will keep you there.
Yeah.
Passion will wake you up in the morning.
Yeah.
Passion will tell you, will motivate you, will push you, will be your driving force.
And people will notice that passion.
They do.
And they become your best advertisers.
They do.
You don't even need to put an ad on TV or radio.
That's true.
They'll be talking to other parents about it.
Yes.
I love that. And I believe, even if you don't remember many things, follow your passion.
True.
Because the passion will definitely cause you to get to places where you never imagined. As we probably draw this to a conclusion in the next few minutes, many of today's kids, and because I also deal with students, I talk to them and they sort of even agree themselves that they have a sense of entitlement. It's almost like the way we were brought to value work, to value ethics of work, work hard. We have almost a generation that feels my parents will provide this for me, I don't need to work hard. And unfortunately now we have that scenario as a country. What's your take on this as we bring this to an end?
And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because the children that we are raising up now, they have grown and they found someone in the house managers, the helpers in the house, who are doing basically everything. And we as parents, we are sitting down to watch, and we think we are doing them a favor, yet we are not. Yet we are not. Any parent listening to me out there, let your children have these skills. Let them know. From an early stage, when God gives you these children, let them clean the table, let them wash dishes, let them understand work. And even for you, what do you do so that you provide for them? It's work. Why wouldn't you want them to work?
That's right.
Yeah, because you also go to work.
Let them practice
Let them practice. Let them, teach them, train them, and don't say they are young. Because nowadays you find by the time they are coming to high school, sometimes they can't even wash their socks.
Wow. May the Lord help us.
May the Lord help us.
Parting shot. Time is not on our side.
Time is not on our side.
Give us your parting shot.
I think what I would like to tell anybody watching this is that we are co-educators. We are called educators. I'm called into the mountain of education, but we are co-educators. All of us, we need to come together and be able to, face this mountain. That is the only way we are going to go through it. That's the only way we are going to make it. Because as a teacher, when you bring your children to me, I'll do my part, but there's also your part to play. The church has its part to play. Even that neighbor has their part to play. If we all come together and we look at this young generation as our own, we own them, and we know tomorrow we don't know which office we are going to find them. Let's instill in them what we'd like to see in the future, because our future is not tomorrow, our future is today. So instill in these children, but be passionate about the students that are coming to your school, my fellow directors and school heads. Be passionate about them. Look at them not with only the eye of the academic. Look at them holistically. Let's grow a holistic society.
Wow. Thank you so much, Risper, Director of Elite.
Kiambu Elite.
Kiambu Elite. You need to pay a visit to the school. I mean, a school based on Christian principles, I believe, and where they bring up holistic children, not just intellectually, but also in other ways. And so thank you so much for gracing the screens of Elevate TV. I will finish by giving this quote that education without values, as useful as it is, seems to make man a more clever devil. Honestly, we don't want to be educated devils in the sense that we are smarter at accomplishing wickedness. Let us have values. Let us instill values. If you're a director, you head a school, if you're a student, if you're a parent, Education is the one thing that God has given us that we can influence lives. We are major influencers in whatever platform you are in. And so thank you so much for watching. I believe you've enjoyed the show. It's been awesome. And until next week on Thursday, may God bless you and see you then. I've been your host, Ann David.